A very good morning. A very good morning to all of you. So here we are back again with the next session, that is leadership. Why leadership is important, we all know. In every organization, a single person, let's say the CEO of the company or the persons who belong from the board of directors, they cannot manage the entire team alone. They need support of some people who can help them to pass on their information to the lower level management, who can help them, who can take the responsibility of getting the work done. There's so many different reasons why we should have the leaders in the organization. Some organization have the leaders, some organization create the leaders. So, being a leader is not something which cannot be done by individual. Being a leader simply means you possess some qualities which makes you different from other people, which makes them believe that you are the person who is going to lead them, who is going to show them the path, who is going to stand by them whenever they find any kind of difficulty. And for that purpose, we have studied many different types of leadership style. Now, when we talk about leadership style, basically there are two kinds of leader. One is objective-oriented leader. For him, what matters is that the work should be done on time, and one is relationship-oriented leadership style. Under that leadership style, the leader the leader first preference is to maintain, to build good relations with the team. Now, in the goal-oriented leadership, there they just focus on getting the work done. They rarely focus on developing relationship with the team members. Amongst that, one of the leadership style is autocratic leadership, which comes under the leadership where they just focus on getting the work done. Now, in the organization, every leader have their own behavior, but when people were studying about the leadership behavior, they came across that there are many different types of behavior which was seen in the leaders. Many different types of behavior. Let's say the behavior as in how people become the leaders. What qualities, what are the common qualities which a leader has? So there are many different leaders. Like one of the leader, Poser and Coase and Posner, they said that the leadership is all about practice. You become a good leader by practicing it. It is not something which is inherited, because they did the survey of lot of leaders, and they found out there are just common things which every employee wants. Like there are two different factors. This study is basically about two different factors, that is theory X and theory Y, the motivational factor and the non-motivational factor. Now here, when they were dividing the factors into two different things, that is motivational and non-motivational, they told that motivational factor definitely motivates the employee, but the demotivational factor, the hygienic factor, if they're not present, employees are dissatisfied. But if they're present, it is not going to motivate them to do something. It is not going to increase their efficiency, but still, it is an important part of the organization. So, same way, many different leaders have studied about, many people have studied about the behavior of the leaders, about the people, like what kind of leader people want. So today we will be studying about the new leadership style, that is coaching leadership style, and how to be a coaching leader, how to show those qualities. Now, if we talk about the coaching leadership style, seeing the word, what thing strikes your mind that what it can be? What is coaching leadership style? Giving coaching to someone, is it so? Is it that? Okay. Coaching leadership is a style defined by collaboration, support, and guidance. See, when we talk about any normal coaching, let's say we talk about the coaching institute, let's say the coaching for the sports, for the cricket. So there, what people do, what people do over there. What people do over there? People come together, they support each other. The coach, the person who is the coach, he brings people, he makes them come together, he provides them the support, he guides them. So these are few of the things which a leader do. So under the coaching leadership style also, as the word suggests, he brings the people together for collaboration. He supports them, he guides them. Now here, this is the foremost responsibility of the leader, to support and guide them, to support and help them to be motivated, to be inspired, and along with that, to match their goals with the goals of the organization. They're supporting and guidance in the way to achieve the goals of the organization. If they're stuck somewhere, if they are unable to do that work, if they need any kind of resources, so the person, the leader is going to be there to support them, to gather all the required resources, to guide them in case if they're stuck somewhere, he can guide them that what is the way by which you're supposed to work. He brings the team together for collaboration. Now, with collaboration, he is improving the trust among the employees. He is making them work together as a team. And that is the work of the coaching leadership style. Under this, the next point says, coaching leaders are focused on bringing out the best in their team by guiding them through goals and obstacles. If we take the example of the coach of the cricket team, now there, what the coach do? He just try to know the strength and weakness of each individual player in the team, right? Right? He just try to know which player is good in bowling, which player is good in fielding, which player has a good hold on catching, who is a good runner, who can run very fast, who is very active. So he looks different things, and then finally he focus on teaching them the same thing, right? He focus on making them master of that specific skill, of that specific thing, and that is the work of a coach. Same here, under the organization, when they have coaching leadership, when a person is a coaching leader, he just focus on bringing the best in their team. He just try to know the individual group strength of his team and make them give their best, make them improve their efficiency, their productivity, by telling them their area of strength. All people have some strength, but many times, just because many times what happen, people want to do something, they have the talent, but they're hesitant, they're unable to do that. Many things run in their mind which stops them, which holds them. But these type of leaders, they analyze those things, they just pushes them to come up with their best, to deliver their best by their guidance. And now when they are guiding them, they guide them through goals and obstacles. They help them to overcome the obstacles, and they help them to achieve the goals which are set. They even help the employees, their team members, the followers, the leader, help the followers to just have a goal in their mind. If someone has not set the goal, he will help them to set goals and match those goals with the goals of the organization, so that it becomes easy for him to make them achieve the goals of the organization, because the person will be motivated, because along with achieving the goal of the organization, he is achieving his own goal also. So he stays motivated. So here coaching style basically focus on bringing out the best in the team by guiding them through their goals and the obstacles which are coming in their way. Here he doesn't focus on doing micromanagement, but still he is always available whenever a person, whenever a follower in his team requires his support. Last point under coaching leadership says this leadership style does not focus on top-down decision making. Yes, it is relationship-oriented leadership style. It do not focus on top-down decision-making that says that whatever the top management has decided, it does not believe on giving the same thing, same decision to the team members if team members have some other situation. Decision-making is being done considering the point of view of the followers also. It's not top-down, top-to-down decision-making approach where top management, the top hierarchy has decided something. It has reached the leaders and leader has strictly asked the followers to do that same thing. It is not dependent on that. Here, the leadership style, this coaching leadership style just focus on making the decisions by taking the feedback of the followers, merging it with what the top management, the hierarchy wants, and then he comes to the final decision. The feedback, the suggestions of the team members, of the followers is also considered under this coaching leadership style. Now, how you can apply this coaching leadership style? If you are learning a new style, you should also know how you are going to apply that leadership style, isn't it? So here, coaching leadership style can be applied in 3 different ways. First is give effective feedback. A leader, no matter this coaching leadership style, bureaucratic, transformational, transactional, bureaucratic, autocratic, whatever leadership style a person is following, a leader is following, he should give effective feedback to the followers, to the team members. The effective feedback is very important to help them to increase their productivity, to help the followers to understand what are the visions and goals of the organization, to understand the importance, of giving timely feedback, and positive and negative, both the feedback should be given to the team members. Effective feedback doesn't mean only the positive things to be told to the employees. If there is something negative, if they have to improve in there some areas, that also should be told to the employees, and that is where we say guiding the team members. Here, the leadership role also focus on guiding the team members, and the guidance means telling them honestly where they exactly stand. Now, telling them doesn't need to be rude, doesn't need to be hard. You can use the polite, positive words to tell them, to make them understand what are the other areas of improvement. Now, giving feedback, first point says, being able to effectively provide feedback. Being a leader, you should be able to provide the effective feedback to the employees. The feedback should be effective, that the people understands your feedback, people, their followers, takes your feedback in a positive way, and whatever changes you are saying, they are bringing those changes also. So that is known as effective feedback. That feedback should have some effect. It should not be that people are listening and they are not doing anything. They are not changing. They're not implementing that feedback on their work. Let's say, for example, a person is good with his work, is good with skills, knowledge, but he never completes his work on time. He always delays the work. In that situation, if the leader comes and gives the feedback that you are excellent with your work, you have super skills which give best results and which are the strength of the team. But the only concern for us is please try to deliver the work as per the timelines decided, because just because we are unable to deliver the work on timeline within the time, our efficiency is reduced. He's just a jolly kind of people. He just want to enjoy. He's so good at work that the work which might take 1 or 2 days, he can finish off that work in just half day, but he doesn't have that seriousness. So giving the proper feedback, now it's the duty of that team member to apply that feedback, to understand that thing and work accordingly. Here, your feedback should be effective. Next point says, delivering feedback in a way that both clear and actionable, regardless of whether it's positive or constructive. Whatever it is, positive or constructive, make sure it is clear and actionable. The feedback which you are giving should be clear, and there should be action which should also be told that this is what we expect you, this is what we want you to do. Like in the previous example, when I told you a person is very good with the work, with the skills, but the only thing is he doesn't complete the task on time. He keeps on postponing the things and delaying the things. So here the feedback which he got from the leader was to finish up the work on time. That is clear and that is actionable too, that from now onwards, please try to deliver the work on time. So this is known as actionable and clear feedback, regardless of whether it is positive or constructive. Whatever feedback you are giving, you're giving positive feedback, you are giving constructive feedback, it should be clear and actionable. Always a feedback should have a clear meaning. Giving it diplomatic feedback like you are always good, you always give your best, your skills are best. Only if we can complete the work on time, like it was very late, if we could deliver that on time before the deadline. Be very clear, no, that you always deliver the work late. Please try to stick to the timeline we have mentioned. That's all. Why you want to make the things go round and round? In this, when you are making the things round, you forget the main context, and even listening to the round and round things, even people forget what exactly they're supposed to understand, what is the exact meaning, why you are having that conversation, what exactly you are trying to say. That context get missed or hidden. So delivering feedback in a way that is both clear and actionable, regardless of whether it is positive or constructive. Giving feedback is a skill that takes practice. So don't wait until your annual performance review to flex those muscles. It is again an art, it is again a practice of feedback. If you remember that when we were doing communication, we have discussed about the process of feedback, right? What is the process of giving feedback to in person. So here process means like when you're giving feedback, you need to understand. The first thing is that listen and understand the message properly. Whenever you are speaking, whenever you are giving the feedback, you need to listen and understand the message. Along with that, you need to see the work which the other person is doing. Then only you can give the proper feedback. If you do not know what the person has done, what are the areas of improvement, where you need to improve, how you are going to give your feedback. So make sure you observe the person carefully, you know what he has done, and on what you have to provide the feedback, you listen and understand the things properly. The first step. Second, ask questions. Like before giving the feedback, ask question. Let's say the work was delayed. Why the work was delayed? Like what happened? Everything went on well. There were lack of resources. There was lack of time. The task which we have assigned needs that much of time. Or what went wrong? Why the thing got delayed? You are asking them to provide you with the effective feedback. You are asking them to answer the questions which are running in your mind so that your feedback is clear and actionable. You give the right feedback. Let's say the time you have given was 1 day, but the task was very lengthy. The resources were not available to them. In that situation, how they can finish up the task? Here, it's not their fault. It's the fault that we were unable to provide them the resources, and the time analysis which we did was also wrong. So you need to understand why things went wrong. For that, ask the questions. Understand the message, understand the answer they are giving, and then convey your reaction as a feedback to that person. So that's why we say that feedback is a skill that takes practice to make other person understand your feedback. So do not wait until your annual performance. Don't wait until your annual performance to review, to flex those muscles, to review your feedback, to work on that. No, do it as and when it is required. Next one, create a culture of continuous feedback and get in as much practice as you can. You need to create a culture where you are practicing the continuous feedback, where continuously you are providing the people, the team members, with the feedback that what are the areas where they need to improve, what are the areas where they need to concentrate more, like what is the feedback they have got for the management, that also they need to communicate. Like the team is really working hard, the team has got extraordinary talent, few people have just marvelous skills. The skills is helping the organization to grow, to achieve the goals of the organization, vision and mission of the organization. So here this way, even if the feedback is for the entire team, you are supposed to communicate that feedback to the team also. So create that culture. Let's say every month, in the last working day of the month or the last Friday of the month, you are going to give the feedback for what a person did in the entire month, what feedback you have received from the top management, from the other team members, from other units. You are supposed to share that feedback with your entire team. You know, many times what happens, this feedback act as a motivator, as an inspiration for them when it is positive. Even if it is negative, they see that when we have the capabilities to improve in that area, we are going to deliver our best. So it always leaves a positive impact on the mind of the people in the team if you share the timely feedback. So create a culture of continuous feedback and get in as much practice as you can. Second thing, to be a coaching leadership, which requires promote growth. You need to promote growth. They don't reprimand individuals for short-term failures or mistake. You have to promote growth. If someone has done had failed in the work or has done a small short-term mistake, do not rep- reprimand. What is reprimand? Like, why we are using the word reprimand? Reprimand basically means the expression of disapproval, that don't suddenly just disapprove the individual on basis of any short-term failure or a small mistake. We all are humans, we all can do the mistakes, and mistakes are the internal part which will happen, which will be there in the lifespan of the individual. You as a leader will also commit the mistake, but that doesn't mean that your team member is simply going to disapprove you. Your team member is simply going to blame you for the mistakes you have done. It's okay. What your motive is, make them understand their mistake, make them realize their mistake, and promote the growth. Instead, they are focused on the long-term success and the growth of the people they manage. They're not focused on the short-term failures and mistakes of the individual. They do not see that thing. A coaching leader is the one who just focuses on the long-term growth success of the people they manage. There are many people, many leaders who, if a person does a small mistake, they just pick up that mistake and they start saying about that mistake, like why it happened, what it happened. They start blaming, but that is not the right way. A leader should be one who should focus on the long-term success. He should see that, okay, a small mistake has been done. How I can help the individual to overcome that mistake, how I can stop him from not repeating the same mistake again, and focus on the long-term success rather than pointing out the small mistakes. Those are the leaders who point out the small mistake. They doesn't deliver best result because their focus is on finding out the small mistake rather than their focus on giving the long-term success and growth of the people, seeing the long-term growth, long-term perspective, long-term achievement, long-term growth of the organization. But the coaching leader is one who focused on the long-term success and growth of the organization rather than focusing on the small-term failures or mistakes. It is critical to adopt a mindset which emphasize that skills and intelligence can be cultivated and aren't set in stone. Leader need to understand and believe that if a team is lacking in some skills, that uh, can be cultivated by training, by helping them to understand, by letting them engage with other employees who is good in that skill, so they can learn those skills. A leader need to understand this thing, that people have a growth mindset. They grow with the organization, and how they grow when organization identifies the area which need to be emphasized, which need to be developed, and they train the people. That is how people grow, and that is how the organization also grow. So intelligent you being a leader, you just have to focus on the skills and intelligence which are required, which should be promoted in the group, and start cultivating them. Start giving trainings, outsourcing the resources for giving that those trainings which for the skills and intelligence which is required. This type of mindset would help individual to think more creative, not just be afraid of making mistakes, and feel supported instead of judged. Yeah. people will have that support that yes, even if we are trying out something new and if we commit a small mistake, our mistakes won't be focused, because the leader is going to see that okay, today if a mistake has happened, but if he brings some changes in that, in the way of doing the work, it is definitely going to make our organization grow. So people will not hesitate in creating and in adopting the new ways of working. They'll openly adopt the new ways of working, because they know that their team leader is not going to blame them for the short term failures and mistakes. His team leader will just focus on the long term success of the organization. So here it says that this type of mindset, when they will have this mindset that yes, no one is there to question us, to blame us for small failures, it will help them to think creative, to adopt new creative ways of working, new creative ways of dealing with the problems, and they will deliver good results. That's why we said that this is not a top to down decision making. See, top to down decision making doesn't allow creativity, doesn't give a chance to the employees to come up to show their own creativity, but it is allowing you to show the creativity. When mistakes will happen, when you will do something by your own. Let's say you have been given the task, you have been given the deadline, and you have been given the outline like how the task should be done. But what is to be done, when it is to be done, how it is to be done is all your call. So that means your creativity is being checked. They're checking that who is more creative, how creatively, how nicely you solve the problem, you give the solution, you produce the results, you show your creativity. And that is what this coaching leadership style focused on. And that is how you are making them grow in the organization. The last point under this says ask questions. It's all about empowering individual and the team to be their best slaves. Empowering the individual. Coaching leadership doesn't tell people what to do. That's what I said. That people have to be creative enough in deciding what is to be done, how it is to be done, what way of doing the things they are going to adopt. It says they guide individual to come to the right decision or answer on their own. And that's where, when you are giving the freedom to the individual to take the right decisions and the answers of their own, there obviously the mistakes are going to happen, but for you being a leader, you just have to focus on the long term benefit, that yes, today they did a mistake, but the mistake which he did is going to be a learning lesson for them, which is going to help us to achieve the goals in the near future. You give them the full freedom to decide what they want to do, how they want to do. It is all about two-way communication. Be equally receptive to answering the question. Two-way communication takes place. It's not just a person is coming, telling you, guiding you, telling you what is to be done, how it is to be done, and you are just doing that thing. No, it's a two-way communication. They sends you what is to be done. They assign you the project. You discuss over that project. You share your views of doing that project. They give their feedback, and then both of you work accordingly. The team and the leader both work accordingly with the common thing where your goals as well as the organizational goals are also achieved. So these are the three things. By adopting these three things, you can transform yourself to be a coaching leader, coaching leadership style. Nowadays, this leadership style is very common in most of the organization, because people prefer having this coaching leadership style. Now, any doubts still here? In the next session, we will be discussing about the pros and cons and the characteristics of the coaching leadership style. Like what are the characteristics of coaching leadership style? What are the benefits of coaching leadership style? That all we will be doing in the next session of leadership style. So we are done with today's session. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, now that's, so we'll just wind up the session. We'll have the next session on conflict management in the next 10 minutes. Bye-bye. Take care.